In algebra, it's very common to talk about an equation, and we often solve equations, but we don't really spend a lot of time saying what an equation is, and so I quickly want to address that. And so I'm asking, what is an equation? Well, an equation is simply just making an equivalence of two things. So for example, 2 plus 2 definitely equals 4, and that's an equation because I said they are equal. I have two sides that are equal. Okay, and so in particular, from a logical standpoint, we have three categories of equations. You have identities, contradictions, and conditionals. And so I just kind of want to address what each of these are real quick. So an identity is a statement that will be true regardless of what happens. So for example, x equals x is always a true statement. It doesn't matter what x is. This will always give you a true statement. Another one would be 1 plus 1 equals 2. That is always a true statement. And so because of that, these equations represent identities. Now, a contradiction is kind of, in some ways, the opposite of an identity. It's an equation that is false all the time. So for example, we can create some easy examples. For example, 1 equals 0 is a contradiction. That is never true under any circumstance. Sometimes you can create contradictions with variables as well. So for example, if I said z is equal to z plus 1, that's never true. A number can never be equal to the next number. And so an equation like that is called a contradiction. It's false under all terms. Alright, now the most common type of equation we deal with is called a conditional equation. That'd be something like this. X plus 1 equals 3. Well, this is sometimes true, it's sometimes false. In particular, this one is true when what? When x equals 2. Right, so if x equals 2, I get a true statement. Otherwise, it's a false statement. So here we say that the solution to this conditional equation is x equals 2. Another way you might want to say this is through a solution set. So I can list my solutions, because sometimes I have more than one, in a set. Okay, so this is what we mean by an equation, and typically when we talk about equations, we're talking about conditionals that are true sometimes, and the aim for algebra oftentimes is to figure out what values of x will make this a true statement. I hope this makes sense. I just wanted to clarify what an equation is and kind of the logic behind it, just to give you a better understanding of algebra moving forward. If you have any questions on this, I'd be glad to help, and thanks for listening.